channel. For those of you that are new here, I am a Rad Tech student or a radiography student or an X-ray student, whatever you want to call it. I decided that I wanted to do a Q&A video. A lot of people for these videos will drink their like tea or coffee. I have a protein shake. I just finished a workout. I did a lot of cleaning today, been super busy. Decided to sit down and do a Q&A video for you guys. So if it looks like I'm looking down, it's because I have my laptop here. I'm going to be kind of reading off the questions that I've received or common questions that I get from a lot of people, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get into it. So the first question is, how far along are you into your program? So I'm in my first semester of the program, so I don't have like a whole lot of really like super valuable information for like the middle of the program, but if you're just starting out, I'll at least have some pointers or tips for you. What classes do you have this semester? So this semester I am currently taking 3 classes. I'm taking, when you try to sit down and do a Q&A video, that's when you forget everything that you're currently doing. Like, who am I? Couldn't tell you. I'm taking 3 classes right now. I'm taking Positioning 1, Radiography 1, and Medical Terminology. I'm also auditing Anatomy and Physiology because I've already taken it. So I'm not gonna retake something that I've already taken, but I'd like to know what the other students are doing, keep up with them along the way. So the other students, just so that you guys have the information, this semester they're also taking Communications, Computer Literacy, College Algebra, I feel like there's one other one, and Anatomy and Physiology. And then I'm taking the other 3 right along with them. So the other students have 7 classes, but I only have 3 since I've gotten transfer credits on the other ones. Are you wanting to be a traveling tech or stationary? So for me, I've decided that I'll probably end up being a stationary tech. I don't have any plans in the future to be a traveling tech, just because I have my fiance here and I don't necessarily want to make him travel or feel like I'm gonna be gone for 3 out of the 4 weeks of a month. I'm just not interested in it right now. Eventually there may be some change, like I may decide that I'd like to be a traveling tech at some point in my life, but as of right now, I'm just not, no, that ain't it. Okay, so where did you get your white shoes? Are they Rad Tech friendly, such as waterproof and stain resistant? I'll go ahead and show you guys right here. These are the shoes that I bought. I bought them specifically because my program requested that we only wear black or white shoes. I loved these ones, but at the same time, they are not Rad Tech friendly. So if I do wear them for clinical, I may end up wanting to get some different shoes for clinical specifically. I originally got them for clinical, but then I saw this comment and I was like, you're probably right. So I probably won't be using them for clinical because they are not stain or water resistant at all. They've already started to kind of dull on me, so I wouldn't necessarily suggest them specifically for clinical. Now if you're just using them for labs and things like that, they're great and they're super comfortable, and I wear them when I go to work at my 20-hour-a-week job, my part-time job. But I wouldn't suggest them for clinical. But anyways, I'll link them down in the description box below. Reebok actually has a 40% discount for students that you can verify through either like Student Beans or Verify ID or something like that. But if you go onto Reebok's website, you should be able to find it there. 40% off is pretty awesome, so I suggest it for sure if you're going to be buying from them. What state do you live in? I actually live in New Mexico. I live in Albuquerque. I absolutely adore it. I plan on staying here. It's another one of the reasons why I probably wouldn't want to be a traveling tech, just because I love my home so much. What do you have to have before applying to Rad Tech School? And this question is in reference to like what courses and things like that, tests, what do you need academically before applying to Rad Tech School? This is gonna vary depending on what program you're going to, whether it's a community college or a private college. I know that when I was going to go to my community college, there were a lot of things that I needed beforehand for that program that I didn't actually end up needing for my private college. And I would suggest going to that program specifically to get the information as to what it is that you're going to need before applying to that program. What planner are you using to stay organized? So I'm using this one right here. It's the Legend Planner on Amazon. I'll go ahead and link that down in the description box below as well. I use it because it's undated. So since the planner is undated, I'm able to go in and add in the months and days myself. And that makes it really helpful in terms of, like, let's say I skip a month in terms of planning for whatever reason, or like there's a month in between what I'm doing and I just, for whatever reason, I didn't plan that month. I don't waste a whole like 4 sheets of paper because I didn't plan for that month. It means that I can go in and date and mark that month however I want to. So I like the fact that it's undated. I can do whatever I want with it. I also liked the fact that it had a lot of like to-do list portions and personal to-do lists and personal development goals and relationship goals and all kinds of different stuff. So I'm kind of able to live my life out of this planner, which was what I was wanting. I wanted everything in one spot. That way I didn't have to worry about it taking up my brain space at all. Like, it is what it is. It's right there for me. Everything I need is right there. So it's nice to not have everything in 15 different places, which can get very, very hectic when you're in such a busy program. It's very hard to keep track of everything if you've got it in 15 different places, and it's super confusing. So I would definitely suggest this planner for things like that. Let's see. What is the workload like in Rad Tech School? Now, I can't necessarily speak for everybody because I'm not taking as many classes as the other students in my program. But for me, the workload is manageable. I have 3 classes, so it's not that much, although it is still busy. I can't imagine the workload though that the other students are having, and I would say that if you are going to take this program, do your best to figure out how to not work. Whether you have to take out student loans to pay certain bills throughout that time, whatever the case may be, have a support system, something in place so that you don't have to work. Because me working 20 hours a week is still really rough, and I'm only taking 3 classes. So having to take 7 classes and work at least 20 hours a week, I can't imagine. So even a part-time job is still going to be very difficult. It's not impossible. Difficult does not mean impossible at all, by any means, and I'm not saying that. But for me, I'm one of those people that's easily stressed out by a heavy workload. So if you're not one of those people and you can handle a heavy workload and you like being busy 24/7, by all means do it. I would definitely suggest not working a full-time job while going through this program. It's one of the reasons why I dropped down to a part-time job. And even part-time is still kind of stressful. So I wouldn't suggest it. So if you can, don't work during that time. And the workload itself, there are multiple assignments for every single class. So in a week we'll have, for positioning, we'll have a discussion board that needs to be done. And we'll have like workbook pages to do, which if you guys have watched my channel, you've seen me do the workbook pages. They're definitely time consuming. So some of the assignments, while they're not hard necessarily, like the assignments in this course aren't necessarily the hardest, but they are tedious and they're time consuming. So you do have to really like sit down and focus on school. And I think that's why I say try not to work if possible, is just because of the time that it takes to do it. You may have to stay up late some nights. You may have to be up until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning doing homework. You may have to put your focus into it. School always comes first. I've always thought that way. In college anyways. I was a horrible high school student, but that's beside the point. I'm thinking of enrolling in college to pursue the Rad Tech program. but I'm nervous about math. Is it used a lot in the program? Now, since I'm only in my first semester and I'm not actually taking the math course that the other students are, I can't necessarily speak to that yet, but I know that in the second semester there's going to be a physics course, and that physics course is what the math is really geared toward. So there is math that's involved in the course, but it's not so much that you couldn't handle it. Like, I wouldn't say that the math in the course is going to be like the end-all be-all of what you need to know. Since the math is really focused for like physics, even though like you need to know algebra, you need to know like basic math. It's not like calculus or anything like that. It's like an intermediate college algebra course. So if you've ever taken like algebra in high school, it's kind of like that, but like a refresher. So factoring, linear equations, lines, things like that. It's not that much. So I'd say if you can handle a high school math class, you could probably handle the math in this course. What are the must-haves as a Rad Tech student? I would say a good laptop, whether that's Mac or a PC. I use a Surface Laptop 3. I really like it. It's got a touch screen. I enjoy a laptop with a touch screen just because I do other things besides school, so for creative things and stuff like that. So I try to make sure that the things that I have are multi-purpose and they work in multiple facets of my life, because if not, it's not worth it to me. So a MacBook really wouldn't necessarily work for what I need, I guess. So if you've never used a MacBook, don't think that you have to have that to go into this program. I enjoy using a Windows laptop. It works perfectly for what I need it for. Now, other things that you're going to need are going to be the necessary things for the program, such as your books, your scrubs, things like that. If you're going to a private school, they're more than likely going to have scrubs that you'll purchase through them or through one of their affiliates, whatever the case may be. When I started my program, they provided me with 3 pairs of scrubs that was included in my tuition, although I would suggest if they're providing you scrubs, you should probably ask them if you can purchase your own as long as it has their logo on it, because the scrubs that they provide are horrible and horribly uncomfortable. They don't stretch at all, so hopefully your head fits through the neck hole, because if it doesn't, you have to order a size up and then you look like a sack of potatoes in these scrubs. So that's the tea on that. Another one of the must-haves is a really good planner. Make sure that you're organized as best as you can be. So really just like a good laptop that runs well, better scrubs if you can, and like better, more comfortable scrubs, and then a good planner. And a smartphone, of course, which I assume everybody has if they're going into this program. I assume nobody would be going into this program without a smartphone. So yeah, and then good study habits, as well as good studying avenues, such as like flashcards and things like that. I did purchase some flashcards, which I'll also link below. One of the students in the course actually suggested them to us as a good way to study for the like bones and joints and articulations of the body and things like that. So I went ahead and purchased those. I haven't really been able to look through them yet, so I can't give a really good review on them yet, but they look like they're going to be really helpful. Last question is, I am starting my program soon. Should I get the textbooks early and start reading to get ahead? Now, I'm also one of these people that freaks out and overthinks everything before starting. And so, especially when you have no control over the time frame and they say, okay, cool, you're starting school in 3 months, see you then. And you're like, well, what until then? So it feels like you should be doing more than you actually are, like just sitting around and waiting. But to overstress yourself with the amount of information beforehand is only going to make you more stressed out before starting the program. So my best suggestion for that is just to relax. Enjoy your time that's not in school enjoy doing whatever you're gonna do before you start school, and then really buckle down and focus once school starts. Now, if you absolutely are one of those people that has to start and read ahead, go ahead. It's either gonna be like Bontrager or there's another textbook, but I forgot the name of it. It's going to be one of two major textbooks for positioning anyways, for like the real, like the act of doing all of the stuff like that. But if you want to purchase the positioning book before you start, just understand that you're going to be learning everything in the program. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by the amount of information that's within the textbook, because it can seem like a lot. I remember in my first week, I tried to kind of read ahead, read the whole chapter, get into it, but not all of it makes sense to you when you first pick up the book and read it because you haven't gone through any of the lectures. There's also information in there that you're going to go over in anatomy and physiology. There's stuff in there that you're going to go over in radiography 1. So it's not necessarily going to make all the sense in the world. Like, it's not going to click. And so it's going to stress you out. It's going to make you feel like discouraged. So just know that if you do get the positioning book, that you want to understand that there are other things in the program that you're not seeing, so you're not getting the full picture. So don't let it stress you out with the amount of information that's within that one textbook. So if you want to, just keep that in mind. Those were all of the questions that I had to answer for you guys today. If you have any other questions that I didn't cover, go ahead and leave them in the comment box below or send me a DM on Instagram. I'm always open to answering questions one-on-one, as well as using these questions that you provide down in the comment box below. I'll answer them, as well as provide them in a Q&A later on if they're different from what I've covered in this one. I really appreciate you guys so much. I've been enjoying making content for you. So give this video a like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more. I am excited to be providing more content to you guys, and I'm rambling at this point, so I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!